The following program was made by a volunteer producer. The views and opinions expressed may not be that of MCM Productions.
Cagney and Lacey, they canceled it 3 times. I mean, it's a wonder they didn't try and kill him with a stick. What is their problem?
Because we gotta seem in charge. We gotta seem like we can handle everything ourselves, like a normal family, or else they have an excuse to split us up.
Well, again, not if we're working together. Now, what makes you think that I would want to work with you?
I want to be your friend. Christy Huddleston, who are you? I wish I knew.
She Black Kettle just gave you your Cheyenne name. Medicine woman.
Sitting in your easy chair with your remote control in your hand. You can doze on off or you can get up and make a stand. And here's your opportunity to have a say in what you see. Viewer's voice, the viewer's choice. Viewer's voice, for all the times you wish that you could do something about the things that...
Welcome to the Viewer's Voice Show. Hi, I'm Sharon Rhode, and I'm here with my co-host Cindy Huber, and we have a very special guest with us tonight. I'm very proud to have her on tonight, Jessie Garcia. I had her on one of my earlier shows,
Long time
way
ago.
back before she had kids. I said we were just talking; it has to be at least 15 years ago, at least.
Absolutely.
So, but we're here, Jessie, to talk about this book because I read it and I loved it. It was hard putting it down.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, it was so good, and I guess maybe too because I am a sports fan and I've been involved in sports all my life. It was just interesting to hear some of this stuff, how a woman, what a woman has to go through to be a sportscaster and that, you know.
I appreciate it. It was fun to write.
Yeah. And now you just got back from a little family vacation with your kids. You went up to...
Yeah, actually we just went up to Door County for a week. We love it up there. We've been going to the same place since I was 10 years old with my parents. So we take a trip with them every year and just really enjoy Door County. I mean, I love Wisconsin. There's so much to offer.
We used to go camping with the kids, and I mean, one place we didn't hit though was Door County, but practically every place else in Wisconsin we have been, and it is probably one of the better states.
It really is. There's a ton to do.
yeah, it is. And you two boys, you didn't have kids when you were on the show,
right?
And I said now you were saying they were 15 and
11.
Yeah. I said, my gosh, how that time goes.
I know.
Huh?
It's gone so fast. The older one will be a sophomore in high school, and it's just flown by.
Yeah,
so.
it does. Believe me, it doesn't get any easier. It goes faster as you get older.
Yeah, exactly.
Just scare. It's going to get really bad.
Right.
Run and hide.
Well, it just seems like you're talking one day, and the next day it's passed, and a couple weeks are passed, and I said it just, flies by.
Yeah.
But the boys, are they into the sports thing? I should explain, when you started out, you didn't want to be a sportscaster or any, I mean, you wanted to be a vet.
Well, you're kind of going way back into my history here. You know, when I was a
that's
kid,
interesting. Yeah.
I just have always loved animals, and so I used to dream of either being a veterinarian or an actress, but that wasn't very long-lived. I think I knew from a really early age that I wanted to be a writer or a journalist, and never really wavered all that much from that.
Okay.
The vet part didn't work so much for me because, you know, although I love animals, I couldn't handle performing surgery on them or something like that.
That would be my problem. As much as I love animals, I don't think I could work with sick animals because that would break my heart. I mean,
that's kind of how I felt.
That's the thing that would bother me.
Yeah, but to your other question, my kids love sports. They love watching sports, taking part in sports. It is interesting because neither one of them has shown an interest in playing football. They love watching football. They adore the Badgers and the Packers and every other football that they can watch. But they're not interested in playing it, which I actually feel really fortunate that they have not shown interest because I'm not sure what I would do I mean, here I cover football for a living, and I love the sport, but with what we know now about concussions, it's a very difficult decision for parents.
Yeah, it's scary because I have one boy, and I said I never wanted him to play. Unfortunately, he got into volleyball and stuff, you know, like that, which is he's still into the volleyball.
Sure.
And my grandsons too. I said they're into the volleyball more than football. And
Right.
I said, thank God for that.
You can still get a concussion in any sport.
Well,
but
but not as
chances
easily.
are, yeah, exactly, exactly.
I mean, even in baseball, you can get hurt, but not as drastically, I don't think, as in football. I mean, I think those guys earn every bit of their money because generally, once they're done, their body's pretty beat up.
You bet. I agree with you.
You know? So, but yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, because I hear you're, you know, a vegetarian and all that, and I said, I always, I love animals so much, but I could never get. I guess I'm raised in a different era. You're raised with eating meat, and always been taught, well, that's part of life.
Sure. A lot of people are. My husband and my kids love meat. I've been a vegetarian since I was 7.
Really?
Yeah. And my parents were not vegetarians. I just, at the age of 7, was sitting in Ella's Deli in Madison, and which is where I grew up. Not Ella's Deli, in Madison. And I was eating a hot dog or a hamburger, and my mom says that I told her, I just can't eat this anymore. I don't want to eat an animal. And she thought it would last a week, but it's lasted a long time now.
Dedication. And you know, there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, when you think about it, I just don't think about it. I just try to blank it out of your mind.
That's what I know. That's,
you know.
Yeah, we were at the state fair. My older son, we were looking at the pigs, and he said, oh, I just can't handle the thought of eating this. But he said, when you see it, you know, as bacon, you just don't think of it that way.
Right.
And so he said, I just have to put that out of my mind.
So are they're not vegetarians?
No, they love their meat.
Okay, so I take it your husband.
Yeah, he does as well.
Yeah.
But you know, think about that. At age 7, you have that determination, like, I'm never going to eat meat again. And that's kind of like the determination you have to you would have to succeed in this business.
I suppose so. I never really put those two together, but yeah, I guess you're right. You know, just kind of striking out on your own a little bit, maybe into uncharted territory.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I've always said, well, I'm gonna lose weight, and then just never, you know. But I've also tried to be vegetarian, and you know. So I mean, I just think that's amazing at 7. So that would, and to think about being a mom, and I know in your new book you cover where you have the determination to continue with a career and yet raise kids. That's gotta have been hard.
Yeah. Some of this, I'm thinking, oh my God, how did you do that?
Yeah. Well, I think my favorite picture. There are about 40 pictures in this book, but my favorite one is it's opposite of the table of contents page, and it shows me in the tunnel at Lambeau Field. And I'm changing my child's diaper in the tunnel at Lambeau.
When I had seen that was cute. I thought, oh my gosh, you know. But what I had to go through, I mean, even being pregnant and having a schedule and that you had.
Yeah,
but
that just kind of epitomized my life, though, trying to juggle all of it. You know, taking the baby with me to Lambeau, and we had to shoot something. I was still technically on maternity leave, but we had to shoot something. I had to be there, and so I didn't have a babysitter, and he came along, and he was only 2 months old. He slept most of the time, but when I had to change his diaper, I did it in the tunnel, and somebody took a picture of me, one of the crew members, and it kind of became a running joke.
Yeah, well, it's cute. Like that. So you get a lot of pictures in here that are so cute that you've got, even with your husband in that one. And I think that was kind of interesting. Now he's a cameraman and works behind the scenes with the camera and sports and stuff. And,
at WTMJ.
Yeah.
And I wanted it to be a visual book. You know, nothing bothers me more than reading somebody's memoir and there are no pictures.
To
go with it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you know, so I wanted people to, I don't know, I just I'm a visual person and I want to be able to associate different pictures with things. So it was important to me that we put a lot of pictures in, and behind the scenes at the Super Bowls and things like that are in there.
That's what makes it really interesting too, you know, to go back and look at that.
Good.
But now you wanted to be a vet, and how did you get to be a sportscaster? Especially you sitting there and your parents were not interested in sports at all either, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story. So I was raised by a single mother, and I'm an only child. So it was just my mom and I in Madison in the 1970s, and she wants nothing to do with sports. She doesn't understand it. She doesn't like it. When we're all watching Packer games, she knits, and she's just bored as can be. So she really can't believe I'm a sportscaster because sports were not a part of our life at all when I was growing up until I was 10, and then she met my stepfather. And he started taking me to Badger basketball games and Badger football games, and that's where I fell in love with sports, I think, at the old UW field house. And again, I had known I wanted to be a writer or a journalist. I used to walk around with a tape recorder interviewing everybody, including the cat, and doing the voices for both. So the sports part, just once I figured out that sports was so much fun, then I thought to myself, well, I don't really want to cover news because there's so much bad news. I want to cover something that, for the most part, makes people happy. And I sort of self-taught myself sports from the age of 10 on. You know, just started watching a ton of sports and really fell in love with it.
Oh, wow.
That's how it all kind of came to be. So I guess if she had never met my stepfather, I probably wouldn't be a sportscaster.
Well, you say you were born in Madison. You ended up going to college in Boston, though?
Yeah.
How that?
Yeah.
Was there a boyfriend in Boston?
No. No, I just grew up about 10 minutes from campus, and it was just a little too close to home to go to Madison. I went to Madison East High School, and you know, we were down on campus all the time. When I was a kid, we used to be in a little drama group that would put on performances on the Capitol steps and, you know, things like that. And so I felt like I knew Madison so well, I just wanted to branch out. I actually thought I'd go to Northwestern, but I didn't get in. So then Boston University was sort of my second choice school, and wound up going there. It was a great experience. It worked out really well. My dorm was 2 minutes from Fenway Park, and so I sort of think of that as part of my education as a sportscaster. We used to go to Fenway all the time.
Did you pick, I mean, was your thought always to be football? I mean, in the book?
No, I didn't really have anything, you know, set in mind. After college, I begged and pleaded with the news director in Madison at the station, the CBS station, where I had interned the summer before, the summer between my junior and senior year. I begged and pleaded with him for a job, and I sent him postcards from Boston and just said, you know, please give me a chance. And the side story to that is that they didn't know if they wanted to hire a woman. So this is now 1992 in Madison, and they'd never had a female sportscaster in the city of Madison before, and they were very nervous about how it would go. But they decided to give me a chance as a part-timer, and then it turned into full-time, and I worked there for 2 years and then came to WTMJ. But the football part sort of came along because clearly that is like the #1 sport.
Yes.
You know, in the state of Wisconsin.
Yes.
And you were coming at a great time. You just missed the horrible Lindy Infante years.
I did.
Oh my goodness. The heart attack pack, great for one season, and then after that it was so.
You're right.
Oh my goodness.
I feel so fortunate because Favre started, you know, about that same time.
Yeah.
Holmgren, and so I was able to go along that journey with them, and you know, been to 3 Super Bowls with them, and you know, so it's you know, I just feel like that was very, very fortunate timing.
Yeah.
Well, and you mentioned in your book about working with Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre and that. What are your feelings now, though, with Brett Favre with coming back for this? Getting his number retired and all that.
Sure.
What are your feelings on that? I mean, there's a lot of mixed feelings on people that say, "Oh, he's a traitor. You went to Minnesota, let him stay there, or whatever," you know. But you know, he did a lot in Green Bay.
I mean, I was, you know, personally stunned that he went to the Vikings, and you know,
I think everybody was.
Yeah, that he was.
I hated him at some point there. I thought,
right,
oh my
I think
God.
all of us were, you know, angry at him, or felt hurt, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But now so much water's under the bridge,
right.
And he really deserves to come back and be applauded.
Right.
Yeah.
And anybody who still harbors ill will, it's like I sort of feel like, you know, let's just move past this. You know, and look what he did. And,
Oh boy, did he ever?
yeah, and talk about sacrificing your body. And the fact that he never missed a start is absolutely almost
Amazing.
alien-like. It doesn't happen with a human being. So
and when you look at stuff like this happen to McMahon, and McMahon is having, you know,
Sure.
injuries, and you're like, you wonder, oh my God, this is the hits that he took. But
Yeah.
he really brought the pack into, I mean, just everybody was in love with the pack in those years.
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, here's this little town in Green Bay.
Right.
You know, nobody really talked about that much except for if they wanted to talk about way back in the 60s.
Sure.
And now you've got Brett Favre, and it just blows up. We go from being a joke to, and that's what I think is so cool. And you came in that period of time, and what? I mean, oh my goodness, what a great time to be with the club and everything. Plus, perfect time for a woman at that time, because you know the 80s were kind of lip service, I think, to women. I mean, it's like everybody started hiring women, because I was born in the 60s, so I can remember, just how foreign it was in the early 70s, see Barbara Walters.
Sure.
Just on anything,
Sure.
you know, or see a woman reporter was huge. And I didn't see one, and I lived near Chicago till the 70s, late 70s.
Yeah.
So to be a sportswoman, a sportscaster on the tube in the 90s was something else.
Yeah, I didn't realize it at the time, you know, that I was making history. I wound up being the first female in the whole state of Wisconsin to anchor a sportscast. And I detail in the book, you know, a lot of the things, the ups and downs of being a woman in a male-dominated profession. And, you know, some of the, like a viewer phone call, you know, angry that there was a woman doing sports. And, there's a whole chapter on the locker room, which people ask me about all the time.
And we are too.
So, you know, I try to detail for people what it was like. And there were a lot of positives, but there were some negatives or moments that prove that you still have hurdles to go over as a woman.
Well, yeah, especially being in the locker room. I can remember when my son and my husband were talking about women in the locker room. That was like a big, you know, really that hasn't, you know, we talk about it. Now it's standard, it's normal.
Sure.
But now when you started,
no.
I mean, were you nervous? I mean, it was like the locker room, like, you know.
Yeah, I honestly don't remember the very first time I went into the locker room, but I'm sure I was nervous. And, you know, I can remember various incidents from the locker room. You know, the Packers used to come to Camp Randall and play there in the preseason. And so I had covered them there a couple of times during my years in Madison. So I remember that. And there's an incident detailed in the book that occurred in that Camp Randall locker room. Nothing horrible.
No.
But, you know, those types of things as well. But, yeah, you know, it was very, now you see women everywhere. You turn on CNN, ESPN, anything, women are everywhere, and that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I will say it's wonderful with an asterisk, as long as these women are good, qualified,
know what they're talking about.
Well-versed and knowledgeable women. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, you get these, I think the Brewers are a little...
oh, good, Sharon. Oh, here's the part we'll be editing right here.
It's just they're nice, they're pretty gals and everything, but really, is that necessary to have that part of the game? I mean, I love the gal that goes down there and interviews them and stuff on the field and that, but just to come on to have a show, you know, that a woman is out there,
right.
To me, that doesn't make...
You don't want to have a token woman.
Right.
And that goes for any sport, any network, any... You know, you want somebody who really knows what they're doing, knows what they're talking about, you know, is comfortable. And so that's the only part that I caution, you know, anybody who's getting into the business. A woman can skyrocket to the top right now because she's a woman and everybody kind of wants that token woman.
Right.
But at the same time, there's a danger there because you're going to be found out very quickly by viewers if you don't know what you're talking about.
Obvious with some of them, I mean.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, and men too, you know, some of the men, but women are going to be judged a lot more harshly.
Yes. And, well, that's always the case. I mean, you even mentioned something in here once about wearing shorts, that the men could wear shorts to interviews and stuff, and you had to wear the long pants, and even when it was really terribly hot, you had to wear long pants where they could get away with wearing the shorts and that. I said that there's standards that are going to be set there.
Yeah,
is,
it's true. It's kind of a double standard.
Yeah.
And I had a little go around with my boss about that, you know, where he insisted that I couldn't wear shorts to training camp because I was a woman and, you know, that it wasn't appropriate. And I was saying, but it's 95 degrees. Everybody else is wearing shorts. So, you know, those types of things as well.
Yeah. Which that's a little, I think, rough to take. Because,
right, absolutely.
But how did you meet your husband? You know, I know he's a cameraman and behind the scenes and all that, and I know because I read the book. But I just, I mean,
sure.
He's for what'd you say, NBC?
Yep, NBC, WTMJ. He's a photojournalist, so he goes out. He's actually in our investigative unit, so we don't work together all that often. He used to do a lot more sports, but now he does all of the longer form stories and 10 o'clock stories and that kind of thing. He does not only shooting, but he does a lot of writing, producing, and editing as well. So he can do all of that. Oh, wow. The only thing he doesn't do is go on camera, but he does all the other behind the scenes. We met at WISC in Madison. I was interning, so it was the summer between my junior and senior year of college. He had just graduated from Madison and had just started as a cameraman, And we were sent out to cover the state soccer tournament together, which at the time was held in Madison at Breeze Stevens Field. And so I remember the moment that the assignment manager introduced us. He said, Jesse, this is Paul. Paul, this is Jesse. You're going to the state soccer tournament together. And then from that moment on, we kind of joked that our first date was the state soccer tournament. So, but I knew he was a good one from moment number one. And we've been married, it was 20 years this summer.
Wow.
So.
See, well, that's good.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
It's kind of neat that you're both in the kind of the same field, that you can,
that does help.
work with each other and stuff.
That does.
And he's probably very understanding, more so than another
Absolutely.
fellow would be,
Absolutely.
He really understands, and WTMJ understands that. I'm only part-time there. I've been part-time at WTMJ ever since my older one was born, which was 15 years ago.
Wow.
And they understand that most of the time they can only have one of us working at a time.
Right.
So, because one of us needs to be home with the kids unless Grandma and Grandpa are involved or babysitter or something. So they've been really good about that.
You're still pretty active with the Packer broadcasting and that, though. I see you on there quite often.
Yeah,
so
not as much as I used to.
I used to have the show and everything.
Yeah, so I hosted first I hosted the Mike Holmgren show many years ago, and then the Mike McCarthy show more recently. For I think 7 or 8 years I hosted that with Larry McCarron. And then I was a sideline reporter for the Packers. But as detailed in the book, I eventually gave up those things to do some other things. I wrote book number 2, and I'm halfway through book number 3, totally different topics. So I'm morphing more into writing.
Oh, wow.
That's nice.
Yeah. So that's been
probably a lot more relaxing, too, than this constant running around.
It actually is. I can do it right there from my own house and, just spend some time thinking about it. And, so look for book number 2. These second and third books are not about me. But they're all nonfiction. The second one, I think, is going to come out around December. It's with Olympic gold medal speed skater Casey Fitzrandolph.
Oh, yeah.
He's from Verona. And it's with his family. They wanted to tell their whole family story, which includes Casey winning gold and some of the pressures and challenges he had rising to the top. But then after he won his gold medal in 2002, his sister was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, and the family ultimately decided to go and do alternative medicines to fight her cancer. So they wanted people to know how they did it, why they did it, what worked and what didn't work. And so I wrote a book with them on that.
Cool.
So so
that sounds interesting. I'll make sure.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
now, you work at. People think you're just a Packer lady. I mean, it's your
right.
But you do the Brewers. You've done Olympics and all that. I said you've a wide range. It's not just the Packers. And you have an article in here about Bonnie Blair and Chris Whitty, which I interviewed both those gals, which I think they're both sweet
great.
gals.
They're amazing.
In fact, Chris Whitty went to school with one of my daughters.
Oh, cool.
In West Dallas. But but yeah, people don't realize you're just not just the Packers.
It is funny because people will say, "Aren't you that Packer girl?"
Yeah.
I hear that a lot. But we do all sorts of other sports as well, and some of the best sports memories involve the Brewers or Olympians. I've never been to an Olympics. We just cover them from here. But we do, for months ahead of time, we do tons of stories with Olympians as they get ready to go off. And then we always, because the Olympics are on NBC on our station, we always set up special agreements where they take a video camera to wherever the Olympic site is and they shoot things for us. And well, they used to have to drop it in a FedEx box and FedEx it back. Now they can just put it on YouTube. So it's a lot easier. But although the years with the Packers have been wonderful, there have been a lot of other great things, especially with the Brewers and when they made the playoffs, a couple times recently. That was really exciting to be in. To see the city back to being a baseball town was really, really fun.
Right, and hopefully they'll bring it this year too for us.
Oh, I know it.
They're doing a good job. Like I said, you got to give them credit for sticking in there like they have. I just hope that one time they go down, they can come back up again.
Just don't be like the Cubs, man. I don't want to be saying, but next year they're going to do great.
I know. Those St. Louis Cardinals just never go away.
They don't. They're just constantly there. And really, they've had so many injuries on their team, but they always seem to come right back.
I know.
And bounce
There's some
right back.
teams that they can be really, I can remember for years the Packers and the Bears. I mean, I lived up in Green Bay during those years, and I can remember that, you know, as long as we beat the Bears, then we had a winning season.
Oh, God, it's still.
You know,
That's what everybody says, right?
We could lose every game, but we beat the Bears, and we won.
Hey, this last year, wasn't that fantastic? I mean, we took them out of the playoffs. I mean, that made my day. I said we didn't have that great of a season.
It did make Sharon's day.
But I said that made my whole year. They knocked off the Bears.
Yeah, although the Vikings have become a really big rival too. So
yes,
it's not just the Bears anymore.
Which is what really, you know.
Well, they always were with Fran Tarkenton. I can remember when I was younger and stuff. I mean, there was offset.
And more recently, thanks to Brett Favre. But still, I think Brett Favre deserves to be in there. But my question would be, you know, here you are on TV. People know you as the Packer lady, but I can only imagine what your sons must think. I mean, is it like, wow, monsters, or is it, oh yeah, they look up, oh, yeah, okay, you're on TV.
Yeah.
You ever come home and go, I met so-and-so, and they're like, yeah, okay, whatever.
They're not impressed by anything. By
your mom.
Kids are.
Right, you know, I'm just mom, and to them, I'm like either annoying mom, irritating mom, you know, badgering mom.
Exactly.
You know, so, yeah,
Exactly.
that's, when I was doing the McCarthy show, I wrote this in the book, you know, they might say, so who was the guest today? And I would, you know, if I said, oh, it was Clay Matthews, they go, oh, okay, cool. And go back to, you know, whatever their homework was or whatever. So I used to bring them up once a year to the McCarthy show, and I think they enjoyed that. It was always on, we tape on Mondays, and it was always a Monday that they happened to be off from school, like a long 3-day weekend or something. But it was really kind of a pain for me because it's just, you don't have the prep time that you have normally. You don't have the downtime that you have normally, you know, that kind of thing. So
And they were younger too, so in a sense you're trying to entertain them in a sense.
Oh, yeah.
Hey kids, you know, Mike McCarthy's coming on. And
right, but they were honestly more interested in going to the arcade that's in the Lambeau Field atrium than anything else, you know. So
years later they'll kick themselves, but yeah,
right,
at that age, yes, exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, to them, this is just the way life has been all the time, so it's absolutely not a big thing.
They tell their friends, and their friends is probably like, what?
I don't even think they tell their friends.
They don't even know.
No, they.
Kids are not impressed
No.
when your parent is and that kind of stuff. I mean, they just totally
Yeah.
wipe it out. Sometimes
Yeah.
I think you embarrass them more than you know, they appreciate you. I mean, I know I'm talking about some of the
You're
stuff I've done.
absolutely right.
You know.
I mean, the 15-year-old doesn't want to be seen anywhere with me.
No,
Exactly, you know, and I had 4 teenage daughters at one time, and I said they were, I think, totally,
Yeah, yeah.
you know.
But we all went through that. I
Yeah.
used to, you know, I used to hide on the floor of the car so that my friends would not see me driving with my mom. So, you know, now I apologize to my mom for that. But
well, then you become good friends after you get older.
Yeah,
I mean, all of a sudden there's
exactly.
a connection. But
Yeah.
but yeah, you know, you said too in the book about the sidelines. Under that chapter was interesting. And you know, did you ever get in the actual action of it? I mean, were you ever that close that you got wiped out or anything on the sidelines?
No,
I mean, to me that
close, though.
seems dangerous. You know, being down
you
there.
really have to stay on your toes because it has happened. It's happened to a number of people.
Well, recently, didn't.
Yeah, Pam Oliver got
Pam Oliver.
hit in the head with a football, and she wound up with a really bad concussion.
Right.
So she had her back turned, and she was doing a report on the camera, and the ball just came and just nailed her in the side of the head. And I mean, there have been close calls for me, for sure. And you know, you really, it's happening at very fast speed.
Yes, that's
very
what I
large
mean,
guys.
You know?
And
Yeah.
I mean, you could blow out a knee easily or get a concussion or anything if somebody ran into you. So yeah, you just have to be really, really careful about it. But honestly, it's almost the worst seat in the house because you can't see the play develop.
Exactly.
The best place to
Too
watch
close.
football is on TV, I think.
You got that right. You
Yeah.
don't get cold either.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you don't have to go out and try to find your car. Yeah, all you have to do
Right.
is find what's in your fridge.
Right.
Where's my beer?
Yeah. So now that I'm not doing as many games, I'm looking forward to actually just watching some games from my own couch.
Let me tell you, it's awesome. It's really, you're going to love it. It's
All
going to
right.
open up a whole new world.
Good.
Make sure you get something where you can put your feet up, though.
Right.
That is the whole
A nice
right
recliner.
there. And a blanket, because you might want to snooze during the bathroom.
Sure, right.
But do you ever get pings of missing it? I mean, now we're getting into football season again. Do you ever go like, oh, I should be doing something?
No, I don't think so, because I'm still working.
Yeah.
No, that's a good question, but I'm still working at WTMJ part-time.
Okay.
And so I get plenty of football from there, and then doing the writing on the side as often as I can. And I'm enjoying just branching out into some other areas as well. I mean, 20 years, well, 22 years really, if you count the 2 years in Madison, is a long time.
Yes, it is.
Oh,
and,
yes.
especially for women in sports. For women in anything.
Yeah. So I mean, it's been great. It continues to be fun. I still love going to Packer games, but I also love, like you said, sitting on the couch with a nice blanket and kind of balancing out those two things as much as possible.
Get the fuzzy blankets, so those are the nice.
Got it.
Or the Packer blankets.
Sounds good.
Well, I want to tell you, this has been fun, and I really did enjoy this book. I mean, it's been amazing, and I'm looking forward to your second one. I'll have to read that one.
Thank you.
I followed the Olympics too all my life, and
I appreciate that. Thanks.
But thank you for taking the time and coming here and
you
talking.
bet.
And where can you get all the places that you can get My Life with the Green and Gold by Jesse Garcia?
Well, Amazon.com is probably the easiest.
That's where I got mine.
Yeah. Also available at many local bookstores.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Barnes and Noble.
That's where I seen it. At Barnes and Noble, I think they had a Packer table. They had.
Yeah, Barnes and Noble, Boswell Books. Lots of different local bookstores and libraries as well. So most of the local libraries. Yeah. So it should be pretty easy to find if you're interested.
Oh yeah, I mean, you got to read this. I mean, some of this inside stuff with.
Packers and pictures, because that does.
And the pictures.
What you said earlier, that irritates me. If there's no pictures, and I'm just like,
I know. Then I'm Googling the person just to try to see a picture of them.
Yeah,
the images. Yeah.
There's one on the back that you were talking about with the baby.
Yeah, he's on the 50-yard line.
Oh.
So that was the same day that I changed his diaper in the tunnel.
Yeah, I figured.
Oh, he's gonna be so glad to hear that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he really appreciates it now as a
You
teenager.
think he didn't watch the show before?
Well, thank you very much. We
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate
My pleasure.
this.
Thank you.
Okay, and then till our next show, I guess we're going to be, well, we got the Peter Noon show coming up now too, but we'll be out in the field again doing some bands and a charity for cruelty to pets and stuff. But until our next show, let your voice be heard, and good night.
This program was made by a volunteer producer using the equipment and facilities at Matta Community Media.